Hi guys, my name is IKA Nosa. So quickly in this video, I want to share with you a template that would help you make appropriate costing of how much you need to budget for to be able to come to Canada on study permit this 2024. All right, so without wasting much time, let us dive in. Okay, so as I said, I'm going to be helping you to calculate, to have an idea of what you need to budget for, how much you need to plan, both for your expenses as well as your proof of funds, what you need to have in your account statement to be able to apply for your visa and of course get your study visa to study in Canada 2024. Okay, so to make it clearer and easier for us, I'm going to be discussing these under 6 different items. Okay, as I said, this is no guesswork, no assumptions, and of course, everything I'm going to be sharing with you is practical. I mean, what I know. Okay, so the first one we're going to be talking about is your application fee. All right, so the very first amount you spend is your application fee. Generally, application fees in Canada ranges from say 90 to maybe $250. Okay, but on the average it is $100. Okay, most of the schools, the colleges, the polytechnics, the universities here charge application fee of $100. So that is what I want you to budget for, $100. Okay. Okay, so the second one we're going to talk about is tuition, the tuition fee. Generally, tuition fee in Canada is dependent on several factors. All right, one of the factors is the location. The location where you intend to study contributes, I mean, mainly to how much you're going to be spending as tuition. Okay, so now, for instance, if you are going to schools, any of the schools in the northern region of Canada, maybe the areas like Nova Scotia, the Newfoundland and Labrador, the New Brunswick, the Saskatchewan, and most of these areas that are not, these provinces are not as big as the big Ontario and British Columbia. So schools in those areas tend to be relatively cheaper than you will find in Ontario and British Columbia. Okay, so if you are going to those areas, you will typically find tuition fees maybe from say 6,000, 7,000, 8,000, 9,000, 10,000, 11,000 to maybe like 13,000. Okay, but if you are coming back to bigger provinces like the British Columbia, the Ontario especially, you will find average tuition, the cheap tuition you will find around 14,000, say maybe 14,000 to 16,000 Canadian dollars. All right, so that is one thing. And then the second thing is also dependent on the course of study, the course you intend to study. Why tuition may vary by location, another thing also is the course of study. Okay, so the course of studying this course, the tuition might be different from the other one, even in the same, right in the same school. Okay, so but conservatively, let us take an average of 15,500. Okay, so you budget 15,500 Canadian dollars as your tuition. All right, that is number two. And then the number three item you need to budget for is your visa. Study visa application fee is $150 for a single applicant. So just budget $150 as your study visa application fee. Then the number fourth thing you need to budget for is biometrics. Biometrics for a single applicant, biometrics is $85. Okay, if you are applying alone as an individual, maybe you're not applying with a spouse, you're not applying with any dependent child or wife or husband, then you are going to pay 85 Canadian dollars. All right, so you write it down, 85 Canadian dollars for your biometrics. Then the next one is medical. All right, so the medical amount is in naira. Okay, it's in Nigerian naira in this case. Okay, and it is 46,500 naira. Okay, so there are two agencies in Nigeria that are responsible, that are in charge of medical. There is Q Life and IOM. All right, so you find them in Abuja and Lagos. So depending on any one, the one you are going for, both of them charge for the 6,500 for an adult medical. So okay, so medical fee is for the 6,500. And then the last one we're going to be talking about, that's the number sixth item here, is the living expenses. Okay, so the living expenses is $20,635. Now, before now, it was used to be 10,000. Okay, and but on the towards the end of last year, 2023, 7th December precisely, the Canadian government increased the amount from 10,000 to $20,635. So these are the items you need to budget for. Now, if you are watching this video from any other place that is not Nigeria, you're not a Nigerian, all you just need to do is to confirm the agency that is in charge of medicals in your place, and of course, how much it will cost in your local currency. Okay, so that is about that. Okay, so now we have all these items: tuition, we have application, that is admission, we have your tuition, we have the visa application, we have biometrics, we have medicals, and we have the living expenses. All right. So one important question, and of course common question that I get from people most times, is how to calculate the proof of funds. Okay, so you will find out that from these items that I've given to you, most of them are prepaid. You're going to pay most of them upfront. For instance, application fee, you're going to pay it upfront because you need to pay while you are submitting your application. And again, visa, for visa fee, the biometrics, the medical, you pay all these ones off upfront. Okay, so the only two that I know that you may not have to pay upfront, you may not have to pay upfront if you don't have the money, are the tuition and the living expenses. But of course, even if you're not paying them upfront, you need to budget for them, and then those ones will have to reflect in your accounts, bank statement that you are submitting, to aid the approval, to strengthen your application. Okay, so for the tuition, I took an average of 15,500. Out of this tuition, once you've gotten an admission, the school will ask you to make a deposit. Tuition initial deposit would be also dependent on the school. So, but usually you will find tuition deposit maybe like 1,500 to up to 50% of your tuition. Some schools some schools will charge you 50%. So they want you to pay, that is one semester fees, one of your first semester tuition fee. And of course, if you have money to pay your tuition fee, if you have money to pay up to one semester, please do pay up to one semester. Okay, the higher you pay, the lesser burden it will be to you, and of course the higher your chances, because they know that you have made payment for your tuition. Okay, but if you cannot afford it, and then your school allows you to pay maybe like 1,500 that Conestoga College takes, or other ones, you just have to pay that. And once you've done that, you now come to calculate how much you will now be submitting in your account statement, how much should now be in your account statement. Okay, by law, you have to have a minimum of this $20,635 plus 1 year tuition. All right, so I'm assuming that you have not paid anything, and then you want all of this amount to reflect in your bank statement. All you just need to do is to add 20,635 plus 15,500. Okay, that will give us 36,150 136,135 Canadian dollars. Okay, this amount is the average total amount you need to budget to have in your bank account statement that you are submitting to the embassy. All right, so how do you now convert this to your local currency? Usually you could check the CBN website for the official exchange rates. Okay, and of course you know that the exchange rate has been fluctuating up down, like that. So usually what I use is owanda.com. Owanda.com is one of the best sites you could use for exchange, for to go to know the current exchange rate or conversion rate of the core of your currency, maybe the Canadian dollar against your local currency. Okay, so all you just need to do is to go on Google and type owanda.com space currency conversion. Okay, so I'm going to show you exactly how to do that with this, with my phone. I'm going to show you exactly, share the steps on how to go about that. All right. All right, so quickly I'm going through Google. So it's owanda.com. Once it opens, I will select the Canadian, the base currency I'm converting from, Canadian dollars in this case, and then the amount I want to convert from, 36,135 Canadian dollars, and then the currency I'm converting to, in this case, Naira. Okay. Okay, so as you can see, once this has been done, then you will now see 36,135 Canadian dollars as of today is equivalent to 24,426,899 naira. That is almost 25 million. So if I were you, I will budget 25 million naira as my proof of funds, my financial statement that I'm submitting to the embassy. You need to submit a minimum of 4 month statement. You could do more than 4 months, maybe like 6 months. Okay, but the minimum you can submit is 4 months. So it depends on you, but you have to submit a minimum of four months. So you could do 6 months or even more than 6 months. And about the type of financial instruments that qualify as proof of funds: your bank account statement, maybe your savings or current account; your proof of investment, maybe you have a fixed deposit, or you have treasury bills with your bank, or you have mutual funds, certificate of investment, and all of those ones, liquid investment that can easily be converted to cash. We call them liquid assets. All right, so these are some of the financial instruments that you could use to show your proof of funds. Wow, I hope this is clear enough. Okay, so these are the 6 items you need to strategically budget for, and then make plans to settle them one after the other, that so that you'll be able to apply for your visa, study visa, and of course get it and come to Canada 2024. So this is everything, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you found this video interesting, feel free to like it, share it with your friends, and of course subscribe to this channel. So click the notification bell button. How much is money? It's nothing. Ball and ball.